All right. How does your digestive system, your gut, contribute to the hormonal imbalances that you are probably experiencing if you're here watching this in your 40s? So, we're going beyond digestive symptoms today and really looking at how the gut can be contributing to things like problems with your period, your moods, your energy, your cognitive function, this feeling of being like on a hormonal roller coaster in perimenopause. So, one thing that I really want to highlight for you today is that we have to stop hyper isolating on our hormones. We have to stop with this hyper focus on our hormones and blaming them for all of the symptoms that we're experiencing. We really need to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. And the gut is a huge part of this process. And it's more than just the bloating, gas, constipation, diarrhea, heartburn, indigestion, etc. You don't even need to have gut issues to have a problem going on with your digestive system. But what I will say is this, most of the women that I talk to and work with in their 40s, in their 30s, they do. They've got something going on in their gut as well. They've got those digestive symptoms. So let's look at this. How does your gut affect your hormones? Really, particularly in these perimenopausal windows, okay? Number one, elimination of hormones. This is where our digestive system really comes in to play when we're looking at the estrogen dominant type symptoms that we're more typically going to experience in the early phases of perimenopause. So if you have the heavy, long, painful periods, if you have fibroids that are developing, cysts, really sore, tender breasts, we've got to be looking at your estrogen and particularly how are you eliminating it? Are you eliminating it? Are you having regular bowel movements every single day? Ideally, a minimum of one. Really, we want to be having a good 2 bowel movements daily. We should be eliminating from your wrist to your elbow the circumference of about a toonie. If you're not in Canada, if you take your 2 fingers on both hands, put them together, that's the circumference that you're looking for. It should be snake-like or coil in nature, soft but solid. It's medium brown. If you're not having these good quality, complete bowel movements daily, and by complete, I mean when you sit on the toilet, you have your void, you feel like you're done. You don't have anything left. Your stomach is a little bit flatter. You might feel like you've lost a few pounds. That's a complete bowel movement. And if you're not having complete bowel movements daily, you're not eliminating hormones, particularly estrogen. So in those early phases of perimenopause, when you're more likely to be grappling with the heavy, long, painful periods, the wicked PMS, PMDD, fibroids, adenomyosis, endometriosis, breast pain, or tenderness, cysts, those types of estrogen dominant symptoms, you may not be eliminating your hormones, particularly estrogen, and they're going back into circulation instead. And this is bad news because estrogen, as I've talked about before, is a use it and lose it hormone. We want it. It's a brilliant hormone. It does a lot of really beautiful things for our body from our head to our toes. But once it's done its thing, we want it out. If it's hanging around too long, that's no bueno, especially in perimenopause. That's number one, eliminating our estrogen. The second thing that we want to be thinking about is absorption of nutrients. This is really important because the nutrients that we need to make our hormones, those are absorbed in the gut. So we look at things like iron, for example, your B vitamins, CoQ10, vitamin A, vitamin E, your zinc, magnesium, the list goes on. These are really essential nutrients for making not just your sex hormones, but your thyroid hormone, cortisol, for example, okay? We absorb these nutrients in our gut. And if there's inflammation, if there's leaky gut, you're not going to absorb those nutrients. So I really want to zero in on iron for a second here because there are so many women that I talk to, that I work with, especially women with heavy periods, with fibroids, endometriosis, adenomyosis, they're iron deficient and they're popping all the iron supplements. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not a fan of iron supplementation. It's very damaging to the health of your cells when taken long term. If your iron levels are low, despite supplementing and your periods are heavy, And even though you're supplementing with iron, it's really not making a difference. We've got to look at why you're not absorbing, okay? There could be a bacterial, a parasitic infection because they feed on iron. So any iron that you've got coming in, whether from food or supplement sources, it's going to feed those little buggers instead of feeding you. So you may inadvertently be providing fuel to continue to allow those infections to flourish. Okay. And if you've got leaky gut, you're not going to be absorbing that iron either, or any of the other nutrients that are so critical for making your hormones. Not to mention for the health and function of your ovaries, your thyroid, your adrenals, your cognitive health, your brain function, your moods, your energy levels. Okay. Good gut health is absolutely essential for our hormones, our periods, our menstrual cycle health, as well as our overall health. All right, the third thing that I want to look at is our neurotransmitters. And this is the last thing that I'm going to talk on today. And then I'll sort of talk about a couple of other areas that are really important. I just want to highlight them real quick, and then we'll wrap things up. And what I want to talk about here in terms of neurotransmitters, these are the happy chemicals that are responsible for our moods. Things like serotonin and GABA. These are the feel-good chemicals, serotonin in particular. It's the feel-good hormone or neurotransmitter. It's a chemical. When its levels are optimal, you're more focused, you are emotionally stable, you're happier, you're calmer. And when we have low levels of serotonin, that can be associated with depression, with negative thoughts, with feeling tense and irritable. You may even crave sweets and have a reduced interest in sex. Your libido is really low. Serotonin is also a precursor to melatonin. So when serotonin is low, you're more likely to struggle with sleep, be more prone to oxidative stress and early aging, because here we have to remember that melatonin is more than just a sleep hormone. It's a really potent antioxidant. It's great for breast health too, actually. Now, GABA, another neurotransmitter, it is a calming chemical, and it is thought to play a really major role in controlling anxiety, stress, and fear, for example. When GABA levels are low, that's associated with anxiety and depression, with irritability, with restlessness. GABA also helps to facilitate sleep. So GABA can really be associated as well with poor sleep, with insomnia, disrupted sleep. And the important thing to know about these neurotransmitters, serotonin and GABA, they're made in the gut, okay? They're not made in the brain. Serotonin in particular, there's so much data on this now, 90% of it is made in the gut, not the brain. And this is why investigating gut health is so critical for women who struggle with mood disorders like PMDD, anxiety, depression, who have difficulty sleeping, okay? Serotonin and GABA production are directly affected by what's happening in the gut, by inflammation, by dysbiosis, leaky gut, by histamine production. Anytime I'm speaking with women and they mention that they're having mood swings, anxiety, depression, volatile emotions, I'm immediately thinking about gut health. What's happening with her gut, with her neurotransmitters? And this is where I've seen so much success with the women that I've worked with who have PMDD, really honing in on their gut, supporting gut health, neurotransmitter synthesis. And this, again, is where testing becomes so critical. What's happening in your gut? Are you synthesizing sufficient serotonin and GABA? What's going on in the digestive system that could be contributing to inhibiting those neurotransmitters and causing issues with anxiety, depression, insomnia, and mood disorders? You really need to test. I personally run and recommend the GI gut health, the GI map gut health test, and also working with a practitioner, or even better, a team of practitioners who can run these tests for you and develop plans for you, help you, guide you through implementing those plans, as well as troubleshooting you with you along the way. It's not enough to find a practitioner who can just order the test for you. You really need to do your due diligence and make sure the practitioner that you're working with can understand, read, interpret those tests, and take into account all of the information about you, your health history, your current health status, your goals, what might be barriers to your success in implementing particular protocols. Take all of these factors into consideration, even your symptomatology, and not just looking at numbers on a paper. There are a few more areas where gut health is absolutely critical as well. But these are the ones that I really wanted to touch on today to make it short and sweet. Just to give you a little snippet, the estrobolome is really important here. Histamine production is really important. Inflammation is really important here as well. I really can't stress enough how really critical gut health is for your hormones, for your health in perimenopause. And I've created a guide for you. It's my ultimate guide to gut health in your 40s, where I've laid everything out for you. You can comment gut 411 below. I've also linked to it in this video for you. And if you are thinking that you're ready to take a deeper dive into your gut health, into your overall health with functional testing, you're interested in working with me and my team, you can comment Clinic 411 for information on my testing packages. I hope you found this helpful. Make sure that you like and follow. Share this with a woman in your life who would find this helpful. Feel free to reach out to me with questions. I'm at stephanie.sing.balancedhealth. Grab that guide that I've linked to. And if you're ready to explore working with me and my team, check out the packages and programs that I offer inside my Women's Health Virtual Clinic. Have a fantastic day, and we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.